This is my favorite thing about film. I know the setup might be overkill, but it works just fine. And I think I'm gonna go with a little bit of a wider lens, so we're gonna switch this one to that one. How's it going, everyone? This is Kevin. Today I want to bring along with me to show you what my favorite thing about film photography is. So let's jump right into it. If you're a film photographer or shoot some sort of film, then you probably know and share the same feeling that I have. It's something that I really look forward to every single time after shooting some film and just make sure that I, get to see my photos. And that basically is it. Receiving my scanned film. Some of the best thing about shooting film is kind of forgetting that you shot some photos and what you've shot, honestly, and then you get them back and then you get to kind of go over those memories and see what you achieved at the time being, because most of the time, for me at least, I kind of forget what it was, and then once I go get it all developed and get it back, I kind of just get that little surprise once again. Now, shooting film is nothing crazy, nothing new, obviously, but it is pretty cool to get to do it still in 2022, almost 2023. For me, I've been using a little bit more of a point and shoot camera than more of the traditional kind of, more manual mode style of camera for film. So it's been kind of nice just to have one, just little one like this, and just be able to get it out, take the photo, move on, and capture whatever I feel like. That's something that for me, I've kind of gone into more often, is like, even with my Fujifilm camera, using the recipes, I get to just go ahead and shoot photos. For the ones that I kind of just don't care to really think about too much and just want to take a photo, whether it's more in like automatic mode or whatever, which has worked out pretty great when using my Fuji camera. And well, recently I got my films back from whenever I was in New York City. So I want to share a couple of my favorite photos that I was able to take while there, because I really liked them and I thought it'd be cool to share some photos that are not the most traditional way of whenever I take them with my actual, camera. So I'll pop some photos here up in the screen for you guys to see while I'm talking about them and what I liked about them, and a little bit of the memories behind it. That way I can share just a couple thoughts here and there of each photo and see what I really created with some cheap little film camera. This cost me about like $30 and I use Portra 800. So if you're wanting to get into film, I think it'd be great for you to go ahead and find a cheap used little point and shoot camera. Get yourself some Portra 400 or 800. Those are pretty great stocks to have. The 400 is easier to get than the 800 recently, but yeah, it'll do the trick. All right, so we got our first shot right here is of the Delmonico section in New York City. The Delmonico section is actually pretty cool because you have the kind of bit of those streets kind of opening up into a V-shaped, which is really nice to be able to capture. And I thought it came out really cool. I had Kelsey right there kind of setting up to take a photo, and I just took one of her while she was taking it just because I wanted to document the memory. And I just thought it was pretty cool, what you can capture on film. Obviously, the colors are straight out of camera. I didn't do any editing whatsoever. These are the scans that they sent me. I just did only the leveling of the shot. That's pretty much what I do with my film photography. But it's really cool to go back to just, see the moment again on film, because I do have a lot of videos that I did while I was out there, but I thought it was pretty cool to be able to see a different perspective on film. So you can kind of see a little bit of like the highlights and everything, a little bit more blown off, but it was just because it was a sunny day. So this next one right here is of the skyline that you could see across from where we're somewhat staying nearby. And it was kind of getting that little bit of a darker time at the time that we're taking these photos. You'll get to see a little bit of the kind of B-roll stuff as well from each kind of shot that if I have any of it. But we were just out there just taking photos. It was the first night that we were there in New York City. So it was really cool to be able to just take, photos. And for me, it's just the first day is kind of just getting to scope out for the ideas. So I try to use my film camera, like something cheap, just to take some photos. And it's really cool to just go back to see what I was able to take. So you get to see a little bit of Brooklyn side area. I believe that's, if I'm correcting, I'm not from New York, so forgive me if I forget, but yeah, pretty cool. And that's another one where it's a little bit more closed up. Obviously with these cameras, the more you zoom in, because this one's a 38 to 90 and also can be a macro, but as well with the, I guess the f-stop, I think the more you zoom in, it goes to like a 5.6. And now this one is a photo of me and my wife while we were just there. Had my brother take it. So, I mean, if he can take the photo of us with a point and shoot film camera that's fairly cheap and still make us look decent, I think you can too if you're just starting into some film photography. So don't feel very, threatened by it. I think you'll be doing just quite fine. This is the Radio City. I really have always seen really cool moody photos of it. I have a lot of people that I follow that when they're in New York, they have those moody vibes because most of the time people like to take them at night just because of the neon lights. For me, I didn't have the luxury to go see it at nighttime, so I just kind of did the best that I could at the time. And I had this kind of subject with the striped shirts just going through, and I thought it would have been funny just to get a photo with him because he was wearing red and obviously the red lettering. So I wanted to go ahead and take the photos of both of them like that just to capture that moment of him and his little moped, and I thought it turned out pretty cool. So it's nice to see it again. It's been a while, so now that I remember and recollect. And this one we're at the One Vanderbilt kind of, I guess, skyline view that you can get to is like on the 90 something floor. There's different sections. You can also see like the balloons that have the reflections and everything like that, and you get to see a lot of like mirrors and everything like that on the ground and all around. So it's a pretty cool place. If you're ever in New York City, I would highly recommend it. It's cool to go during like the sunset hours, but it is more expensive technically from what I recall. So just keep that in mind. But you get a really cool view of the whole area of New York City. You get to see, all the skyline and everything in between like that. So it's pretty nice as well. So it's worth the money in my opinion for what it is. This is when we're hanging out at Central Park. We're just, relaxing, getting to have some ice cream and everything. So it was really cool to just be able to take a couple photos of, just the buildings surrounding, because you get some of that nature, but also some nice big buildings. And I thought it was pretty cool just to take, random photos, nothing too crazy, but it's nice in my opinion still. This was of Times Square at night. We actually got up to this bar in a hotel where you can see a little bit more of the Times Square area, and we kind of found it on I think I found it on the Spots app, and we just went up there, and you have to buy a drink, and that's it. The drinks are relatively expensive to a certain degree, nothing horrible, but it's like paying an entrance, but you get to have something to make you, feel good. Now, the Dumbo section was pretty cool. We got to kind of have that alleyway where you can see the Manhattan Bridge. I thought it was really great to get this photo. It actually, did pretty fairly well to have the focus point and the basically exposure correctly of the bridge with minor things around the photo as well. I think it was just, obviously with a lot of the shadows, and we're getting closer to getting later in the day. So, I mean, it is what it is, but I thought it was still pretty cool. And without having to do any touch-ups on it, it looks really phenomenal to me. And this is one of the reasons why I love shooting film, is just getting those films scanned back and then getting to see those colors without having to do much of editing is something that I really love. There's a reason why I like doing the Fujifilm recipes, because sometimes I don't want to have to edit anything. Despite of having my certain color grading that I like to do, sometimes it's just nice to have something great straight out of camera and just only focus on the composition and lighting. This was the Pebble Beach area. Kelsey was taking a photo of me, and I just wanted to capture her taking a photo of me. I thought it was a really cool memory because the Manhattan Bridge was in the background, and you get to see just that section where it's just really nice to me. But that's when we were shooting that little New York City short film that I did. We were out there and about and, killing some time while the sun was setting more. So it was really cool memory to have. This one right here is from the One World Trade Center. I think it's like the shopping center / museum area, I think it was. You get to go in and has a nice symmetry and everything. So I thought it was really cool to take with the film camera just because it had the American flag out there, and then just the purpose and meaning of it. I mean, despite of it not happening obviously so long ago what happened there, it was still cool to capture and cement it a little bit more traditionally, and just for me, it's like kind of respectful in that certain aspect because it's just, you're taking that one photo for me and that's it. And I just wanted to have it like that. I mean, I might have taken, I think, one with my phone, but I didn't even decide to take my actual camera out for that photo. So it's pretty cool. Had to do a little bit of reflection photo, nothing really for memories, just thought it was cool. This was my brother walking the street, and we had the One World Trade Center there, so I thought it was nice to just capture him walking, or I guess waiting to walk across the road, and I don't know, I like the colors of it, so it was one of my favorites as well. We're back to the Dumbo section. I mean, they're not in order. I just kind of how they're popping up on my computer, so don't mind the everywhereness. But it was just a little portrait that I decided to take of my wife. I thought it looked really good. I mean, she was just posing really beautifully as always because, well, she's my wife, and also because she does a really great job at it. But you also get to see the nice little Manhattan Bridge behind her that I thought looked pretty cool. And a little close-up of the Manhattan Bridge because, well, why not? You know, when in doubt, take photos of nice architecture and everything. And here we have back into Pebble Beach, but this is another section where they had the bigger rocks, and we're able to have the Manhattan Bridge behind her and just take a nice little photo of her. And it's a nice little memory. I mean, something that I really enjoyed in New York City was going to Pebble Beach and the Dumbo area. Quite a bit of, we went like 2-3 times in our stay there, so it was nice to get to have some nice memories set there. They had this one section up there that you could go and, you know, go up a couple flights of stairs where they had some restaurants and everything. And I was able to take this shot of the Manhattan Bridge, and I really enjoyed it. Thought the colors looked really nice, so, you know, made the list as well. And lastly, you can't have one of the Manhattan Bridge, not one of the Brooklyn Bridge, with the One World Trade Center building. So, you know, kind of have that skyline as well. So I thought it would be a great one to finish with that because it is a good view, and it's something that you can go back and look into. And kind of, for me, that's one of the main things that I love about it, is feeling those memories just rush back because you have, you know, you get to see it, you get to remember what you were doing. And that's one of the things that I think film photography, and one of my favorite things, is just getting those scans back to be able to see them. The shooting of it is obviously phenomenal, and I think it's great, and I love it, but being able to just see your scans after, because you don't get to see it immediately. That's something that I feel like sometimes we neglect, is that we don't get to see it immediately whenever we shoot film. Compared to like our normal cameras, we can shoot, spray and pray, and you don't have to think about it sometimes. And it's just, not that it doesn't have purpose, but sometimes it's just, you know, going with the flow, rather than with a point and shoot camera. And with film, you just have that, you know, certain count that you can shoot, and you have to really think about it. What do you want to capture? Does it make sense? Has the composition right? The lighting perfect? Is it not? Am I going to be okay with it? Or am I just wanting to shoot something for memories? And that's something that I think we kind of neglect sometimes with our digital cameras. And that's one of the reasons why I just believe that shooting film can be so great for once in a while. It doesn't have to be that often because it can get expensive, but I think just being able to shoot film and getting to wait all that time to get your film developed and scanned is my favorite feeling, because I get to see it, I get to relive it in that moment. And yeah, I thought that would be cool to share with you guys as well. But that's basically all that I had to share about this. I mean, I think that if you're wanting to shoot film, find a cheap point and shoot camera, find some cheap even film stock, whether it's $5 ones or $10 ones, or, you know, 20, whatever you want to spend on it, but just go ahead and create memories with it and just see that feeling of when you get your film scans back. I'm hoping that you can relate with me on that aspect, because I honestly think it's really cool, but maybe you don't relate, maybe you do. Let me know down below. I would love to know what your favorite film stock is, or if you want to get into film, why haven't you started? Or if you have started, have you really continued it or not? Let's get some chatting down below, and would love to have that conversation with you guys. But with all that said and done, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Share this video with a friend. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.